A lot of people don't know how broken I was for so many years, especially I went back to college in August of 2017 for summer classes, and then Rashia's group blocked me again from taking classes. After that summer, they said that my financial aid didn't come through, and I did have financial aid. I had TAP at John Jay, and I had student loan. I know because I was within the fulfillment of my loan. So, I had a hard time. And I was literally crying and praying a lot that God would bless me with a job. I had applied for the company that I work for several times, and they didn't even call me in for an interview. And then finally, God just blessed them to call me for an interview. They called me for an interview, and God gave me favor with the account manager. And I had to go through a question, just to re-verify my documents and everything. And the first time I put the number on there, and the second time I just put my document numbers. And it worked when I put my document numbers because, of course, that's who I am. So, you can only be yourself. In a world where people are trying to be something else, I used to resent who I was. I never resented Diane being my mom, but I used to resent who I was. I used to resent the fact that I was born in Iowa, because I thought Iowa was such a small state. I used to resent the persecution that I received from people because of who I was. And after I went through, my document review and my identity was solidified, then I realized it's a blessing to be who I am. And you can't reject who you are. You can only be who you are. And in this country, it's a crime to not be who you are, and I had never doubted who I was. But, we go through life, we're born, we live our lives, we celebrate our birthdays, and we don't really know that we are who they say we are. So it's good sometimes when you have to go through verification to prove that you are who you are, because there are people who would love to live behind you, who would love to become you, who would love to use the benefits that you don't take advantage of because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed that your grandfather and your ex-husband and all these people worked at a packing plant. You're embarrassed because you came from a small town. Do you know how many people would love to come from a small town and get food stamps? Have a right to vote? You don't know how good you have it. Be able to go to the doctor. I was talking about how a lot of black people, even myself included, somebody had assaulted me and I have a rash on my breast. And I have health insurance, free. Can go to the doctor, and I just have not made the appointment. Now, later, I may look up on my deathbed and be wailing like, God, why didn't I go to the doctor and get care for my breast when you've given me health care, free health care? And these are the ways that we don't show that we are grateful to God. These are the ways that we show ungratefulness to God, because God has given us everything. And like I was talking, lust is the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and the lust of the eyes, the lust of the heart, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. I think I have that right. Either way it goes, lust. Generally, people flee responsibility. the flight is on responsibility because people don't want to be responsible for their life, for the lives of their children, for the things that God has called them to do. But let me tell you something. When Jonah refused to preach to Nineveh, the Lord sent a whale to swallow him up. He had a responsibility in the belly of the whale. And so, even if you go down to Lodabar, you're going to have a responsibility.